California dreaming about you.
Hey, yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and start, and yeah, more people will join in the better. But for now, what we are going to do is to actually go ahead and implement a way for the customer to see all of the drivers that are around him. And yeah, this was asked a lot by you guys, so yeah, I'm just going to do it. It is really fast and easy. We only need a listener, a GeoFire listener, so a GeoQuery, and we'll get that up and running and in no time. So this live stream will be kind of short. I just wanted to test everything out. So yeah, let's do it. Hi, hey everyone. So yeah, jumping into the Android Studio, and if you want to go ahead and implement this as I'm doing it right now, then go ahead. It is really easy. So yeah, in our Android Studio, you are going to go into the customer map activity, and yeah, this is where we left off last time. I haven't picked up this in a long time, but yeah, let's do it. So what we want to do is by going in here, um, okay, we want to get all of these drivers available. So I'm right now in my database, and let me jump in here, and a bunch of you guys have been using this database, but no worries. And I have two drivers going around in here, and I'm forcing an update in the location so that we can see it working in the database. So what we want to do is to get all of the drivers available that are in here, in this child. So yeah, it will be easy because all you have to do is to make a GeoQuery that will pinpoint our location and then do a circle around us and get all of the drivers that are within that circle. And you are able to define whether you want a big circle, let's say 10 kilometers, or a small, like 1 kilometers around us. So yeah, that's all that we have to do to make this work. So let's jump right into our Uber app in the customer map activity, as I was saying, and I'm going to scroll all the way down because I'm going to do it, it is going to be separated from all of the other code so that you don't have to worry about things colliding or something like that. So in here, what we want to do is to create a function which we are going to call private void and we are going to call it get drivers around. Okay, and now all that we have to do is to create a database reference for this child right here. Okay, so let's say database reference, and let's say drivers location equals to database reference, Firebase database, I'm sorry, let's do it like this, dot get instance, dot get reference, dot child, and it is called, I believe, drivers available. Okay, so now all that we have to do is to create a GeoQuery, and to do that we are going to say first of all GeoFire, and this will create a sort of a database reference in this database reference right here. So it is required by GeoFire, that's how it works. So we have to say new GeoFire driver's location, and now we can go ahead and create the GeoQuery. And the GeoQuery is, as I was saying, something that you can pinpoint the driver's location and then do a search around the radius of the driver's location. So GeoQuery, let's make this a bit bigger. Okay, yeah, you don't see it, I'm working on it right now. Okay, let me know if this is big enough for you guys. So geoquery equals to geofire, so it will search in this driver's location, dot query at location, and now we'll say new geolocation, and the geolocation only takes two arguments, so the latitude and the longitude, so the center of the radius that you want to build. And the geo at location takes two, so this variable right here and the radius. So you can go ahead and set the radius to, let's say, 10,000. You can set it to wherever you want. And then the geolocation, it will be m last location, and this is m last location is the last location known that's associated with our app, in this case the customer app, dot get latitude, and then m last location dot get longitude. Okay, and now this is what we are going to run with. So it will make it will center a circle around our location, and then a radius of, in this case, 10,000 kilometers. I believe this is in kilometers and not miles. So yeah, so that's where it will search the drivers at. And now we must create the listener. So the listener is really simple. We simply have to say add geoquery event listener, new geoquery event listener, and on key entered. Okay. And now we have a bunch of methods right here, and I see some of you guys are still incoming now. Hello. So yeah, we have a bunch of methods right here, and we are interested in 3 of them. And the reason is that on key entered, for example, we'll get all of the data when it is created, or we are it is the first time that we are calling the listener. So yeah, then we'll need the onKey moved, and this onKey moved we'll use to get the movement of the user, of the driver, and if the driver moves, then we'll get in here and get the key or the ID of the driver that moved, and then only move the marker, that specific marker. And then we'll also need the onKey exit. The onKey exit will be used whenever a driver stops being available, so he stops working, so we're no longer showing. That's how we are going to do it. So only this and these methods are needed, and it will be extremely easy to implement them. So how we are going to control the markers is by having a list, and with lists you can have a list of a number of objects, any object really, and we can create a list like this. So let's say list, and now inside this I don't know how they call it, the bigger and the greater and lesser than signs, we can pass on an object, and we can pass on an object of the type int, string, whatever. Our own objects, we can pass whatever we want. And because of that, we can also pass markers. So let's say marker list equals to new array list of the type, again, marker. So I believe you guys can already see where this is heading, and because we can create a list of the type marker, then we can control it really easy, because, well, all of the markers that we add to the map, we can add to this list and then control it. Okay, so that's the only thing that we need. And so yeah, let's do this. So on key entered, we are going to loop through the marker list. So let's say for marker iteration, so I'm going to call it marker it, and then we are going to loop through the markers list. So this for will return to us all of the markers that are contained inside the marker list via this marker it for iteration. So now we say if marker it dot get tag dot equals key, and this will be essential, then we'll return. And I'm going to explain this in a second because it is extremely important. So now, first of all, let's forget this for a second and let's create the set marker, because this method will be called whenever this GeoFire event listener is first called. So it will return all of these childs if they are within our radius. So now we are going to create the marker. So let's say lat long driver location equals to new lat long location dot latitude and location dot longitude. Okay, and now we'll simply create a marker as we've done before when we want to show the driver and where the assigned driver to the customer and where he is and things like that. So it is similar. You can say mDriver marker equals to mmap dot add marker, and now we have to add a couple of options. So we will say new marker options dot position, and we'll pass along the driver location, which is passed along through this location. Okay, and this key, let me just say that the key corresponds to this child, to the child's key, so in this case the I, V, X, R, T, wherever, and the location is passed on with this. Okay, so that's the two arguments that we have when creating these listeners. Okay, and driver location, and then we'll set the title to key so that we know which driver is what. You can remove it after, obviously. And yeah, I believe that's all. So let's close that up. And now we'll simply say mDriver marker dot set tag, which is really important, is key. So that both the tag and the title will contain the ID of the driver, which isn't good because you don't want to show the ID in the title, but this is just so that we can easily see what the marker's ID is. Okay, so and this tag is so that we can control it. So that's the whole, the big thing about it. So now I'll say now we have to add this marker to the markers list. So dot add key. Okay, and dot add, not key, I'm sorry, it is mDriver marker. So again, this just adds the marker and the marker to the markers list, but these four, and you might ask why we need this is just to make sure that we don't add two markers that are the same. So whenever a child is found, a driver is found, we go through all of the drivers inside the marker list and see if there's a marker that contains the ID that we already passed on through here. And if there is, then we return, because you don't want to add it again. So that's the whole idea behind it. That's just to make sure there are not two drivers markers that are the same, you know? So that's the whole thing that we have to do. And now let's go on to the next two parts, which is to remove the marker whenever the driver stops existing and to move the marker. So let's start with the removing part because it is easier. We are going to do the same loop as in here, so I'm going to copy it. So for marker to marker list, and we are going to create the marker to get all of the markers. and then search, and I'm going to copy again the if the marker that we get in the iteration .getTag equals this key, because onKeyExit, which is whenever a child stops being in that GeoFire child, is the key, passes on a key of the driver ID. It is exactly the same as this key right here. So if this happens, then we'll simply say marker it dot remove. Actually, we don't need anything else, and return. And because it is a list of the type marker, we are able to do this quite easily. We only need to remove it, and that's it. We don't need anything else. Now we also need to remove the marker from the marker list. We can't only remove it from the map. So we are going to do this before or after. I don't believe it really matters. So let's say after dot remove marker it, and that's it. We don't need anything else. And let me just check all of your questions. Will the video be available to see for later use? Yes, I'm recording it right now, so don't worry, this will be available in the channel. Hi everyone. Good. What do you think about Flutter? Well, I have to check it a bit more. I've read a lot about it, and I see a lot of people liking it a lot. I see a couple of problems from what I've seen, so I'm not quite sure. But yeah, it seems like a great tool. It makes it a lot easier to program from what I could tell, but I have to dig a bit deeper into it. So yeah. Okay. I'm confused about functions. Well, that's one of those things that you get used to the more you program with Android. You get really used to how you can work with functions and how you start remembering them quite easily, so don't worry. So hi to everyone that just arrived. Okay, that's it. Let's go ahead and continue. So this removes the marker, and this is exactly what you need. And then we have the onKeyMoved, which is whenever the child changes location, but it already exists, it just changes location. So you know the difference between onKeyEntered and onKeyMoved, because onKeyMoved is called whenever this flashes yellow, and onKeyEntered is called upon whenever this flashes green, which means it is being created but not changed. Okay. Now let's do the onKeyMoved. And it is basically the same. We simply get the marker and get the marker that has the tag that corresponds to key. And now we are just going to update it. So marker it dot set position new lat long location dot latitude and location dot longitude. Okay, so this will update the position, and you'll see it moving around. So yeah, that's the only thing that we need to do. Now we have to call this function, and we are going to call this function not in the onCreate method, because we must guarantee that we have an mLast location that's not null. So for that, we are going to call it inside. Let me check where it is, because I can't really remember. Inside here in the mLocation callback, and this is because in here we are certain that the mLast location isn't null because it has just been created. So we can do it this, but we have to keep in mind one other thing, which is that we don't want to continuously get the position of the we don't want to continuously get the drivers call the get drivers around function. So we have to make sure that we only call it once. So to do that, we are going to create a boolean and we are going to call it get drivers around started equals to false. And now jumping back inside here, we'll say if not get drivers around. So if this variable is false, then we'll call the get drivers around. And with an if, you don't need to place the curly brackets if it is only one line, so it makes the code a bit cleaner, so I'm going to remove it. And now we have to set this variable to true inside of the function. You could also say it here inside this if, but I'm going to do it inside of the function. So get drivers around started equals to true. And that's it. So yeah, that's the only thing that's needed. This is working right now because I already tested the code before, but I can try to show you guys how it is working. So I'm going to jump in here, going to log out on one of them. Yeah, let's log out. Going to a customer 10@gmail.com. I believe that's an account, a real account. I hope so. Let's log in. Oh, it isn't. Customer. Let's just create it. Whatever. Okay. And here we are. And for some reason it isn't working with us. Let me just check. That's the thing. I believe this is only on the. This is a problem with my emulator because for some reason it isn't getting things that are around it. But in my phone it is working, and I don't believe I can show you, but let me try to. Let me come in here. Okay. Now let me see if I can show you guys. So as you can see in the phone, I have the driver moving around, one of the drivers, and it is this one right here. Okay, so it is working. But now let me try to log out on this one and log in with the driver. So I'm a driver 11. Let me create one account really quickly. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Register. Working. And it will jump right in there. And now I'm going to try to make it as big as I can. Okay. And now both drivers are showing up and they are moving. So they are moving both in their activities and in this phone. And you can see it them right there. So yeah, this is all that it is needed, and it isn't working the emulator. I don't know why, but I had this problem before. I was hoping that now it would work, but no. So, but yeah, it is working. It is extremely easy. So many of you guys were having troubles with this, but you can do it extremely fast. You don't need anything. You only need to know how to work with lists and all of that. So I'm going to push this code straight into the GitHub, and you are so that you are able to go and see it. And yeah, I hope I can do more live streams. Right now I don't have much time, so I only wanted to do this really quickly because I didn't release any video this week. So yeah, I just figured I would come in here and yeah, do it live. So yeah, I intend to do a lot more of these videos, and one video that one series that I believe I'll be doing in the future is how to do a launcher. I know some of you guys asked for it, and I've been looking around and figured it would be interesting to do. But yeah, so maybe let's do a series on how to create your own launcher, like do an iPhone launcher or something like that. I think that would be really cool. So yeah, let's see how it works. And yeah, if you have any suggestions, then do please leave them in the comment section or tweet at me at simplecoder.com. Simple with a 1 and not an I. So yeah, be sure to come in here. I always try to respond to you guys. I do it at least once a week. So if I don't respond to you right away, then wait a bit. I'll try to get back to you. But yeah, that's all for today. I hope to get back to you sometime soon. But yeah, thank you all very much for coming. I hope to see you again tomorrow. And